So recently, we've seen one of the biggest scandals in modern history when it comes to the good herb. The federal THC hemp ban was secretly slipped into a government funding bill that ended the longest government shutdown in recorded history, and it wiped out instantly one of America's fastest growing industries. But here's the thing, it wasn't just a political accident. This wasn't just a paperwork problem. This was a full-scale coordinated pressure cooker campaign from big alcohol, big tobacco, big pharma, and big cannabis. And let's not forget a bipartisan alliance of Democrats and Republicans spearheaded by Mitch McConnell and backed by 39 attorney generals across America. And yes, President Trump ended up signing it, but the story behind why he signed it is even crazier, so buckle up, this one, it's explosive.
This involves, something that came out of the federal shutdown being now ended, and that involves the effect on the booming hemp-derived THC industry, which of course you've seen really explode here, the number of especially beverages containing hemp-derived THC. That all could be wiped out by this time next year if this law signed by the president does stick. Again, a one-year period in which there's going to be, and already has been, a lot of pushback here to try to change that. But the deal to end the shutdown included a provision to essentially ban products with more than 0.4 milligrams of THC per serving come next November. It closed a loophole in the 2018 Farm Bill that originally opened the door to all these THC products. But of course, it'd be a massive blow to businesses. A lot of craft breweries have gotten involved in manufacturing products, pivoting really to meet this growing demand, and a $200 million industry in Minnesota.
The opening of the government could mean the end for a booming business in Arizona.
The spending bill passed by Congress and signed by President Trump on Wednesday changes the rules for the THC-related products.
Now, before we break down the secret groups and big players behind this ban, let's have a quick refresher as to what the federal THC hemp ban actually does. And under this new definition, it in effect wipes out Delta 8, Delta 10, THCA flower, hemp-derived THC edibles, hemp seltzers and drinks, and any naturally extracted or synthesized intoxicating cannabinoids. It also imposes a 0.4 total THC milligram cap per product, and that's not per serving, that's per entire container. That means that a can of hemp seltzer is now illegal. A 10 milligram gummy is also illegal. A THC flower jar testing at 25%, that's completely illegal. The industry was instantly nuked nationwide. Now, what's also pretty interesting is that Republicans have spoken out against this federal hemp ban, most notably Rand Paul, and he has slammed the alcohol and cannabis interests over the federal hemp ban, and he's announcing that he will file a bill to reverse it next week. On top of that, we've also seen another Republican lawmaker in Nancy Mace also propose a bill that will reverse the hemp ban. Further, even in red states like Texas, the agricultural commissioner is calling for repeal of the federal hemp ban, which was recently signed into law. In legal states like Colorado, their governor is slamming the GOP over the federal hemp ban and saying that it will stifle growth and innovation. Joe Rogan also spoke out about this, signaling his discontent with the entire issue, as well as Seth Rogen, who says that someone is really threatened by the expanding THC hemp market. But who actually pushed for this? Who wanted it? Let's break it down. Now let's start with the man at the center of it all. This is Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell. Now this is the same guy who legalized hemp in the 2018 Farm Bill. He smiled for the cameras when he hung out with the farmers and bragged about bringing a new industry to Kentucky. Fast forward to 2025 and he personally inserts the hemp THC ban language into the government funding bill that ended the shutdown. So why the 180-degree turn, Mitch? Well, according to reports and sources, McConnell's donors and the political machine behind him were furious about the hemp THC competing with legal cannabis. They were also upset about hemp undercutting big alcohol, hemp threatening Kentucky's traditional industries, which include bourbon. They also did not like the fact that hemp was embarrassing federal regulators, and parents were also complaining about weed gummies at gas stations.
But then they have these goofy ass bills, which, by the way, they slipped something into this last bill that Mitch McConnell guy did, I believe. Make sure that he did it. The hemp thing. They slipped this thing in where you can no longer buy CBD with, like, it has to be like the lowest trace amount of THC in it, which is for like my wife's mom. You know, she's an older lady, and she takes CBD for pain, for joints and stuff like that.
Does she smoke it, or she does the ointment?
No, she takes like oil, like CBD oil. Yeah, he snuck
he's
it in
taking
there.
a hit of
That
something.
old
Look at his
fucking dead turtle. He's a leading proponent of closing a 2018 Farm Bill loophole allowing intoxicating THC to be sold in low doses. See,
but he's got a couple of fucking milligrams in his neck. Look at that motherfucker.
He's got something going on. They definitely got him medicated. There ain't no way that guy's sleeping without help. Everybody hates him.
It looks like he hit a joint and it won't leave him alone. Go back up and show him. Yeah.
Like took an edible. He like Joey Diaz dosed him.
Yeah.
It looks like he's on the church. He's on the church of what's happening now. And
Stay
Joey
black,
Diaz,
cocksucker.
Joey Diaz and Lee are just staring at him. They got to change that. That's really bad.
Why is it bad? Because of what they...
Because for people that are getting benefits from CBD, the THC along with the CBD, and by the way, we're talking super, super low amounts, but there's something about how CBD and THC work in a synergistic way for people that are in a lot of pain.
Yeah, full spectrum. Yep.
I know a lot of people, like I said, my wife's mom, she says the stuff with the THC in it works better, and it's not getting her high. Like, This is the misunderstanding.
Yep.
This stuff's not going to get you high. But what it will do is it helps with anxiety for a lot of people. It definitely reduces inflammation. And for people that have like joint pain, like my friend Dave Foley. Dave Foley from News Radio, Kids in the Hall, Dave Foley, awesome guy. Dave had like pretty severe arthritis in his hands, like where, he was really having a hard time opening his hands. Started taking CBD oil.
Can he open a jar or anything like that? You think was it hard?
It was in pain, man. It was bad. But now it's gone, and it's gone because of CBD. It's really effective, man. It's really effective.
And so what they're saying that they don't want you to. Why are they doing that? Because they want to control it. Like,
it's the alcohol lobby. It's the same people that are trying to keep marijuana illegal in Texas. It's the alcohol lobby. This is the fact. The fact is, when people start smoking weed, they drink less.
Absolutely.
And it could be because they just decided to get high and not get drunk, or it could be that they smoke pot and they get a little paranoid and they go, oh my God, why am I poisoning myself 5 days a week?
But here's the part that no one talks about. McConnell's move only succeeded because the Democrats joined him. And that brings us to the next crazy part of this whole story. And this one really shocked me. 39 attorneys general from both parties, Democrats and Republicans, pushed Congress demanding a ban. A bipartisan group, 39 attorney generals, both Democrats and Republicans, sent Congress a letter begging them to shut down the intoxicating hemp business completely. Now, these 39 attorneys general, both Democrats and Republicans, argued that hemp THC is unregulated. Products are being sold like snacks. Kids can access them. States cannot control it, and federal law created a loophole. And now Congress must clarify the definition of hemp to close that loophole. What does this all mean? They basically wanted Congress to criminalize the entire modern hemp industry. And Congress, they listened. Lawmakers used that letter, held it up and said, look, it's bipartisan. It's about safety. It's about protecting the kids. We need to ban an entire industry. Meanwhile, entire hemp businesses, farmers, processors, retailers, they were all about to get obliterated. So we all know that Dinosaur Mitch was pushing to close the loophole. But who else lobbied for this ban? Because there were entire industries pushing Congress to close the loophole. Let's go industry by industry. Just a quick reminder, guys, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club or just buy us a cup of coffee. And if you happen to be a home gardener, try the ICANN Organics. Use the code LEGAL. It works on the bundle and the seeds. Now, according to reports, nobody fought harder against hemp THC beverages than the alcohol industry. And why is that? Simple, because hemp seltzers and THC drinks were outselling craft beers in some markets, making bars rethink alcohol menus, they were hitting younger demographics, and they were offering a hangover-free alternative.
Why did Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky bring up hemp, of all things, at such a crucial moment when the end of the shutdown was there? You know what the answer is? Because this guy was trying to stop an injustice. This had nothing to do with shutdown politics. It had everything to do with him trying to shut down a dirty move by his fellow Kentucky senator, rewarding greed, rewarding special interests in our politics over the interests and wellness of millions of Americans. Senator Mitch McConnell sneaked in a measure that just effectively banned THC and CBD products. Weird target? Yeah. Random? Nope. He did this to please his bourbon-pushing buddies in Kentucky As one of his final acts, the senior senator chose to help push poison at the expense of medicine. One medical study found 1 in 5 of us use hemp-derived THC or CBD gummies or tinctures or cream every year. That is why hemp is trending on social media despite all the Epstein noise. This isn't simply about getting high. This is no more about going after hippies and counterculture. But even if it were, where do politicians get off judging that kind of personal behavior, period, let alone removing hemp for the benefit of alcohol? Alcohol is responsible for more death and destruction than just about any other substance. Excessive drinking kills 178,000 Americans every year. Alcohol poisoning kills over 2,000 Americans a year. Guess how many Americans die from CBD or THC poisoning each year?
0.
0. Oh, but this was way past due. Hemp has been getting away with it when marijuana is regulated. Getting away with what? Safe pain relief and relaxation? Tens of millions of Americans turn to hemp-derived CBD and sometimes THC to help with pain, sleep, stress, anxiety. I guarantee you, if you don't, you know someone who does. A lot of people recovering from injuries, physical or psychological, use these products instead of other much more heavy-duty pharmaceuticals. That's a bad thing. And for many, including me, they have become a much safer alternative to drinking alcohol. And that little bit is why Mitch McConnell just tried to submarine the industry. Ironically, it was McConnell who first legalized the hemp industry in his 2018 Farm Bill. Ironic, huh? So what changed? Money. Bourbon is huge in Kentucky. It employs over 20,000 people in the state. And the industry is struggling. Liquor sales are down 3% this year. Why? Tariffs and the fact that Americans say they drink less, especially since safe substances like hemp came about. The counter is, no. This isn't about corporate greed. It's about kids who are getting hemp products because they're unregulated, unlike marijuana and alcohol. Even if this were true, regulate young people using it. You don't just ban an entire industry. It's a $28 billion industry. It employs over 300,000 Americans all over the state, all over the country. It pays $13 billion in wages, $1.5 billion in taxes, and you're just going to wipe it out for your buddies in Kentucky?
Many major alcohol giants such as Anheuser-Busch, Coors, Diageo, they were all heavily lobbying in Washington during the exact period that this ban was drafted. They pushed the narrative that hemp drinks are confusing to customers, they bypassed alcohol taxes, and they threatened the industry of alcohol regulation. Basically, big alcohol did not want THC drinks competing with their beers, so they backed the ban. Now here's the big twist. Big Cannabis also supported the hemp ban. And why is that? Because hemp THC also undercuts dispensary prices, it avoids cannabis taxes, and it's sold in states where cannabis was still illegal. It did not require a license, did not require seed-to-sale systems or regulatory hurdles, and it also ate into multi-state operators, beverage and edible markets. A lot of these large cannabis companies have admitted that they want intoxicating hemp to be moved into the legal cannabis market or to be banned outright. So it's pretty ironic that the hemp industry got attacked by both prohibitionists as well as the legal cannabis industry. Now, big tobacco and the vape industry were also getting involved, and this one is a little bit more subtle. Big Tobacco has been pushing for stricter regulation of nicotine vapes, tougher rules on alternative intoxicants, cleaning up gas station and vape shop markets, as well as consolidating adult use intoxicants under federal control. Because think of it, hemp THC exploding in vape shops threatens their model. Now, Big Tobacco and the vape industry did not necessarily lead the charge for this ban, but their interests definitely aligned with the ban. Now here's where things get really political, and that's Big Pharma. There's no smoking gun showing that Big Pharma explicitly demanded this ban, but a lot of folks are citing them as a big reason for this ban. Their interests align perfectly with the ban.
We've got to protect our children. We can't let them be exposed to the marijuana. We have to keep it out of their reach, so we've got to keep it illegal, including medicinal marijuana, which you have to have a prescription for, but God forbid we get people off of prescription drugs. And so when you hear these talking points coming from people, understand this. Those talking points about protecting our children or protecting morality, whatever they want to say, those are literally coming from the pharmaceutical industry. Don't believe me? Check out the new report on The Intercept by Lee Fong, where he talks about the fact that Insys Pharmaceuticals, the makers of the deadly opioid drug fentanyl, the very drug that killed Prince, they paid or gave $500,000 to a group in Arizona that was trying to pass or trying to prevent the passage of a marijuana legalization bill. So this group that makes these deadly opioids that are killing people, it's 50 times more potent than heroin, they're the ones out there fighting against medical marijuana legalization. And why is that? Because it's not just about the opioids. Turns out this group that Lee Fong wrote about, Insys, actually makes a synthetic version of THC cannabis oil that is far less effective than full-blown medical marijuana. But they are worried, according to their own documents, that if medical marijuana legislation passes and people can get their hands on it, that their little synthetic opioid, THC, cannabinoid, whatever you want to call it, is not going to do very well, and they're not going to make as much money as they would if they were able to keep medical marijuana illegal in their state.
Hemp THC competes with prescription drugs. CBD and minor cannabinoids compete with wellness products. New cannabinoid-based pharmaceuticals, they want FDA exclusivity. Big Pharma hates over-the-counter intoxicants that they cannot control.
Fascinating how we have experts who have not been touched by lobbying money, who actually are on the side of legalization.
Well, you do, but the problem is these front organizations like Parents for Drug-Free America that are being paid for by the pharmaceutical industry. If you would take all of the heroin users and all the cocaine deaths, they wouldn't even be close to the deaths that are caused in the United States by legal pharmaceutical drugs. 84% of the pharmaceutical painkiller type drugs sold in the entire world, David, are sold right here in the United States. So if somebody really wants a talking point and say, why do we have to push back on the pharmaceutical industry and say there's another way to treat pain? We don't need these drugs that are killing people by the thousands. It's become an epidemic in the United States. Again, 84% of all painkillers in the United States, in the world, are used in the United States. Why? Because we have direct-to-consumer marketing. So you have the drug industry pushing this stuff like it's candy. And so doctors are prescribing it like candy. And all of a sudden, we have more deaths, we have more injuries, we have more auto accidents, we have more crime that centers around legalized pharmaceutical drugs that are sold by companies like Pfizer and Merck and Glaxo or Purdue Pharmacy. So that's really the analysis, and really the pushback on the legalization of this always comes from that industry. But your point, David, is a good point. If people actually explored it, they would see the real culprit lies in the legalized pharmaceutical industry that's making a killing on the deaths of Americans all over year after year.
You know how much money you're costing the pharma corporations? Every that you sell costs them $5. Cannabis has cost certain large mega corporations trillions of dollars. Trillions. Big pharma hates us. Big alcohol, they hate us. Big tobacco, they hate us, man. Shame. All of these large, extremely wealthy forces are out there despising us and trying to find ways to bring it back to 1990, bring it back to 2000. They want pre-legalization. Right. Their profits for alcohol were so much greater back then, man. You know how much money you're costing the pharma corporations, Jacob? I bet you it was a lot, man. And what if they looked at it as every that you sell costs them $5? And now they're looking at you of how much money you're costing them, aren't they? How far do you think they're going to go to stop you? Nameless, faceless, soulless.
So even if some folks argue that Big Pharma was not leading the charge when it comes to this ban, they definitely stand to benefit the most from these products being outlawed. Now, of course, you'll also have classic opponents to the good herbs such as prohibitionist groups like SAM, Smart Approaches to Marijuana, and their CEO, Kevin Sabet. Folks like these use Protect the Kids messaging, they're all against the good herb, and they also call for other groups such as anti-drug nonprofits, family councils, PTA groups, conservative religious organizations, and certain Democrat and Republican governors to align with their anti-herb messaging. And of course, the politicians will eat up that reefer madness and all the fear-mongering that goes along with it. Now, understandably, I've heard tons of folks blaming Republicans, certain politicians, and even President Trump for this ban being signed into law. But here's the plot twist. This ban was only passed because Democrats helped to push it through. So why did the Democrats side with the Republicans on this ban? Let's break it down. Many Democrats were influenced by their own Democratic attorney generals. They were lobbied by alcohol unions. They also wanted to avoid blame for the government shutdown. And truth is, some Democrats are even more anti-hemp than Republicans. Some Democrats also took the kids' safety political angle, and many just believe that Delta-8 and THC flower were created from a regulatory crisis. So yes, despite Democrats branding themselves as cannabis-friendly, a lot of them threw the entire hemp industry under the bus. This was not a bipartisan vote. This was a bipartisan crackdown. Now let's address one massive question. Did President Trump have a choice? Did he have to sign the hemp ban? Well, technically no. He could have vetoed the whole bill. But politically speaking, realistically, he had no other option. Signing the bill was his only realistic choice, and here's why. The ban was buried inside the bill to reopen the federal government. Vetoing it would have extended the shutdown even longer. He would have taken all the blame. McConnell and state Republicans also pressured him into signing the bill, which was tied to the government reopening. Democrats supported the bill overwhelmingly, and on top of all that, if he refused to sign the bill to reopen the government for hemp, a lot of his opponents would have said that he's basically holding the government hostage for gas station weed. So even if President Trump did not personally care about banning hemp or THC, signing the bill was his only path to ending the shutdown without destroying his own political messaging. So yes, he signed it, but the ban was not his agenda, his idea, or his priority. Because of the entire situation, he was pressured into it by Congress, Mitch McConnell, the attorney generals from both Democrat and Republican parties, as well as both parties in general. This video is brought to you by VivoSun, the brand trusted by home growers across the world. Whether you need tents, lights, carbon filters, or complete grow kits, VivoSun has you covered with gear that's reliable and affordable and built to help your plants thrive. I've been using their products myself, and they make it easy to grow smarter, not harder. So if you want to upgrade your grow setup, check out VivoSun. They're the home grower's choice for everything green. Use code ICANTHC to get a discount on all VivoSun gear, including the new smart lights, grow camera, and the under canopy lights. So all that said, I do have a few final thoughts, so let's break it all down. Big Alcohol did not want THC drinks cutting into their beer and spirits. Big Cannabis did not want hemp undercutting their dispensary prices. Big Tobacco wanted to control their competition and eliminate some of these vape shop intoxicants. Big Pharma also massively benefits from restricting over-the-counter cannabinoids and instead pushing opiates. 39 attorney generals, both Democrats and Republicans, demanded Congress shut it all down. Democrats and Republicans teamed up to push the ban through, and Mitch McConnell orchestrated it all, slipping it into a must-pass bill. And amidst all the pressure of the government shutdown, President Trump signed it. And make no mistake, guys, this was never about safety. This was never about protecting the kids. This was always about control and closing that loophole. This was about money, power, and protecting established industries. The hemp industry never stood a chance. Now, all that said, let me know what you guys think about everything that we discussed in today's video. Do you guys think that Mitch McConnell is to blame? Do you guys think the government is to blame? Do you guys think the Democrats or the Republicans are to blame? Or do you guys think it's a combination of everything? Everything and everyone coming together, and they all pushed for this ban. And also, don't forget some of the massive players in those big industries. I'm talking Big Pharma, Big Tobacco, Big Alcohol, all of them. They absolutely pushed for this loophole to be closed. Now, in our next video, we break down some of the crazy things that are happening over in New York because they appointed a Democrat socialist mayor, and what that could mean for the good herb, especially considering his Muslim background, is absolutely crazy. Have a look at that video. It's coming up right now.